there has been a development in the story. You just heard Mitch mention it in the update a second ago. And that is the reporting from Shams Charania that his current squad, the Phoenix Suns, and his business partner, Rich Kleiman, have met multiple times over the past week. And that's a quote unquote, multiple times over the past week to consider trade scenarios with this in mind. The Rockets, the Spurs, the Heat, the Timberwolves, and the Knicks have all shown interest in Durant dating back to the February trade deadline.
Yes. Yeah, I think there could be another one or two. I think the Clippers might have some interest as well. So I think it's possible that there are other teams that have interest in acquiring Durant. What we don't know is if Durant has interest in going to those teams. So Durant is going to be very vocal in this and have a say in this and work on this. And as I've been reporting all along, this thing is going to get done before the draft. So this will be, by the draft day, because it's very likely that there will be draft compensation in this deal. So this thing could get done right before the draft or the day of the draft. I don't expect it to be after the draft. So we are closing in on, what's the date of the draft?
It's 2 weeks from today.
So we are closing in on the final 2 weeks of Kevin Durant being a member of the Phoenix Suns.
The exact date escapes
25th?
me, but it's 2 weeks from, I believe it's June 25th. 2 weeks from today, yes.
And you're gone. You're in California?
I'm gone.
Yeah, you're gone.
I don't know.
Me and Kellen.
I don't know why it's Kellen's filling in for.
I just remembered.
For me.
I rember that you were gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have to make this about me, but it's interesting because in the report, Shams kind of says the same thing as you. He just terms it a little differently. He says several wild card suitors have checked in with the Suns on Durant possibility, which is basically the same way of saying what you just said a second ago. There could be a couple other teams that are involved in this, and that might be.
We have the same information. Everything I've been putting out for the last week, 10 days, is very similar to what he's saying right now. The teams that I've mentioned. And then the latest report I had was that Durant is interested in the Spurs. He'd like to go to the Spurs. It's interesting because that's been all over Twitter, and Kevin Durant is very vocal on Twitter, and he hasn't denied that or said that's not true or anything like that. I still think that that's his preferred destination. What we don't know is what other teams he might be interested in going to. And that's what we don't know.
And that's important to know, all right? Because the disaster scenario, I think, here, and we saw this play out in real time with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat and the Phoenix Suns and all of that. The disaster scenario is that he only wants to go to the Spurs, and he doesn't want to go anywhere else. Now, that does not preclude the Phoenix Suns from trading him somewhere else anyway, and that does not preclude a team from saying, hey, you know what, we get it. He's got a year left on his contract. This might not be where he wants to go, and it certainly might not be where he wants to sign an extension. We're going to go get him anyway. We were talking about the Toronto Raptors and that possibility, yesterday, day before, in which there was some speculation in the industry that they're under so much pressure to succeed this year that they might just say, screw it. Let's trade, just like we did with Kawhi back in 2019. Let's go trade for him. He's got a year left on his deal. If he doesn't sign an extension, okay, fine. But we have to do something here. We go for it. And that doesn't require Kevin Durant's sign off at all. I mean, that's just, hey, we're going to trade you here, and that's going to be that. And if you want to re-sign an extension with him, great. And if you don't, you'll be a free agent in a year.
Yeah, it worked out really well with Kawhi.
It sure did.
Went there, and they made a trade, and it was DeRozan, and Jakob Poeltl was in the deal, and I think it was a pick.
You got to say his name right, too, because he might be a future Sun.
Jakob
Poeltl.
Rhymes with turtle.
Rhymes with turtle.
Yeah. I just can't pronounce names right.
I know, but what I worry about you is that you're going to foster ill relationships with the Phoenix Suns when they trade for these guys and you can't say their names. It's one thing when you can't say their names and they're on the Raptors or the Spurs, but if they're on the Suns, you got to know, man.
I do try, like Geraldo Perdomo.
Yeah, only when you say it real slow and you clap out the syllables. Perdomo.
Right, because if not, I just say Geraldo Perdomo.
Here's one other, and I don't know if you saw this or not, but I saw this morning.
Okay.
Stefan Bondi, and I hope I'm saying the first name correctly, covers the Knicks for the New York Post. He has been reporting for a few hours that the Knicks are not in the mix for Kevin Durant. And he's the beat writer who covers the Knicks for the New York Post. He is reporting the Knicks are not in the mix for Kevin Durant. So, it doesn't mean I'm taking out a black Sharpie pen and drawing a line through the New York Knicks and saying they're out. It's, I believe he has covered the Knicks for a number of years. I would imagine he's fairly well sourced. And maybe somebody now that organization is a little bit of a mess anyway, because they keep asking for coaches who are under contracts with other teams, and they keep getting told no. Mitch, who was the latest? You were telling me the latest today.
Jason Kidd.
No, there was one after Kidd. Who's the
Quinn Snyder.
Quinn Snyder. They asked for Quinn Snyder.
Really?
And they're like, yeah, no, can't talk to him.
Here's Johnny Bryant, the only guy you can get.
He's so going to be their head coach.
I don't think they like him there.
You don't think so?
No, I don't
they
think
might
so.
not have a choice.
I know.
They
That's
should
what
try
make him
for
down.
Kenny Atkinson or Mark Dagnall.
They want Kidd. They were told no. They want Finch. They were told no. Who was the other one? Ime Udoka. They were said no to him. Quinn Snyder. They were said, it's like, was this your plan all along? Fire Tom Thibodeau and then just go asking for established head coaches from teams that hoping that one of them would say, yeah, sure, we don't like our head coach. Go ahead, talk to him.
Jay Kidd makes a lot of sense. He coached Brunson in Dallas. He played in New York. Like, he does make sense.
Yeah, but not if the Mavs don't let him go.
No, they don't want to let him go.
I mean,
no.
The Mavs are like, yeah, go pound
No, they were in
sand.
the NBA Finals. They were in the NBA Finals 2 years ago.
So, again, going back to the KD thing, I don't know if this eliminates the Knicks or not for sure, but I think it's something we have to consider, that maybe the Knicks aren't as much of a suitor in all of this as we think. But clearly, as your reporting indicates and as Sham's reports indicate.
Yeah, we're coming to an ending here.
It suggests a spirit of cooperation.
Right.
Okay. Now maybe I'm reading too much into it, but Rich Kleiman, the Suns, they've met multiple times. They're, it sounds like they're at least trying to get on the same page for how this is going to work, which is good, because Kevin Durant obviously is going to want to feel empowered as if he has some say in this. The doomsday scenario is if he goes to one spot and the Suns want to send him elsewhere, and they have to. The Suns have to take care of themselves here first and not take care. I know how things went last February, and I know it wasn't pleasant for KD. But if KD comes back and says, I only want to go here, and the Suns say, yeah, but we can't get a great deal if we send you there, the Suns need to take care of themselves and send him where they need him to go, regardless of what it does for Kevin Durant's feelings.
I'll have a lot more information on this, I think, within the next 24 hours or so. Got to let the dust settle a little bit. They're starting to work on this stuff now. I think they'll have a real good, clear indication by the weekend what direction they're going on this trade. I think they will. I think they'll focus it. It's almost like the coaching search. We got 20. We're going to knock it down to 9. We're going to knock it down to 5. We're going to knock it down to 2. I think this week is really all about gauging the interest, seeing where Kevin Durant would want to go, seeing what teams have decent offers and players that you like. But I do think by the weekend, they're going to start narrowing this thing down and really have a focus on one or two teams that they want to make a deal with.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.